It is Monday morning. We finally got the headers. So I'm gonna see if I can put them on and see if it fits. Complete the rest of the core support and weld up the mistakes. This is the difference with the headers. So one has this giant piece that comes out, which I feel takes up way more room than it needs to. This is the one that's advertised as an S10 header. This one is a general swap header. Now, while it's just about an inch out from the actual block, I feel like it takes up less room than this one does. Super fun stuff. I get to remove the intake manifold again so that I can get the connectors behind the motor, in between the motor and the firewall, which there's like, 0.1 clearance. I thought it would look cool if I left them inside the rails, but I think I'm going to go back to the outside of the rail. I feel like it might give it a cleaner look if we're on the outside where all the wires are right here, because eventually when we put the coil setup on and all the wires are right here, it just makes more sense. So I'm about to change that right now. Main things we need to accomplish today are going to be finish hooking up the rest of the wiring harness to all of the different components and try to get real close to actually finishing the wiring on the build. And then I need to get the core support in the car. The thing that's cool about the current performance wiring harness is that this piece plugs right into the fuse box. So I have to confirm which way it actually goes in real quick. Pretty sure it goes this way, but I'm kind of hoping it can go the other way. That way I can run this behind all of this and make it much cleaner. However, we'll see what we have to do. Can't wait to get rid of some of these boxes. But that's the main thing. We got to check and make sure all of the stuff works first. All right, so it looks like this goes in. Yep, it's this way. So it's gonna go in the same way that all of the other ones do. So what I'll do is I'll route it I'm gonna go ahead and route it through here to where it can come out behind this stuff. I set up the heater hoses how I'd like for them to run. So I'll need some sort of bracket to actually hold this down, but I want to put them right there so that they flow nicely right into the firewall. I opened up the box for the condenser so that I could go ahead and start mocking it up so that we know exactly how we need to mount the radiator. I also mocked the core support up on the truck. We have an inch, if even that, of clearance between the fans and the actual pulleys, which is okay, and that was expected. However, I need to cut out some more on this core support so I can fit the condenser in there far enough to where we can put the radiator in it and still have it look all, you know, nice. I was able to get everything finished as far as these pieces. It's really hard to bend around a corner like this. So, did my best on those. But this will make it so that it doesn't cut anybody. I've also managed to get this mounted to the actual core support to where it's not going to interfere with how the radiator is about to go in there. This is basically what we're looking at with everything installed. We have enough space over here to get our AC lines through. And I'm gonna have to put the transmission cooler probably on the front of this. I may just run something under the car with a fan. But this seems to work pretty decently. We have the radiator cap right here. I set the core support in the car or in the truck for mock-up purposes so you can see the amount of clearance that we actually have. We're looking at about 2 inches of clearance right there. What I'm trying to figure out is how I want to do the intake on this thing, because if I do the intake like this, it's going to come up above the hood line. And we're going to be dealing with I'm going to use a regular Corvette hose, because the Corvette hose will actually do exactly what we need it to do. However, we have the battery right here, and I need to do an intake that's pretty much going to come out and then go in between this right here and have a filter. Unless I can ask the tuner to do just a speed density tune so that I can run just a filter directly on this. If I could run a filter right on that, that would probably save a lot of headache. But we're about to see. A few things we got to finish today. It is Thursday morning. So what I'm going to do is finalize Crossmember location. So get everything fully bolted in 100% and then tighten everything up. I need to do the drive shaft as well. I'm going to do a new carrier bearing on the drive shaft and get the drive shaft in, which since the 4L60 is actually in the same spot pretty much that it was before, we probably don't need to do any new drive shaft or anything like that. So we're good there. We also have all the under car wiring. That'd be like oxygen sensors and hooking up the range sensor on the transmission, doing all of that. So hopefully we can get all that done today, and then Monday we have a lot going on. I'm hoping to be able to have the truck started on Thursday, hopefully Thursday morning, be able to actually start the truck, even though there won't be an exhaust on it yet. So we got the two oxygen sensors right here, and then we got the rear two O2 sensors. These pretty much just see if your catalytic converter is working. You know, all of my vehicles are made for off-road use, so we're not using these things. That big boy strength. Here's what I'm about to do. I'm about to go ahead and remove this mount. Probably have to take a jack and jack this up just a little bit. I need to make this hole for the crossmember wider because the new bolt that I want to put in there is wider than the hole. My phone is vibrating right now, likely from a spam caller. Don't you love that when the spam callers call over and over again? Nothing makes me want to buy your product more than when you call me over and over again. When you frustrate me before I even talk to you, really makes me want to buy your product. Looks like it's actually just holding up just fine without having to use the jack. Probably just those motor mounts are beast. Let's see if we can widen this hole just a little bit. Big boy. Look at the girth on this bitch. That's how this mug went on there. Check this out, boy. Use my beast man strength. Unparalleled by any. We should actually be able to get a match. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna stick this in there. We're gonna tighten it up. There he is now. There he is now. Oh my gosh, it's fitting now! But now, hopefully it fits without any issues. There he is. just finished mounting the ICT billet coil pack relocation kits for the LS. This one, we're using the truck coils, the square shaped ones. I like this kit because it actually keeps all of the coils really close together, and I was able to do it right on the valve cover to where it avoids the brake booster right here, and I'm able to use the stock length ignition wires. Now, I did go with a 45 instead of a straight like the stock ones. However, going with that stock length gives you much more aftermarket capability. Well, aftermarket selection. I'm also about to relume all of these wires right here that were for the ignition coils. That way they're going to look a lot better. But this makes it so that we're not touching the evaporator core, we're not touching the brake booster, and we're able to still use the same length and put it at a reasonable place. You know, this whole thing is a very tight fitting swap. We're also doing the starter today, the battery wiring, and mounting the ignition. I'm sorry, mounting the ECU. So I got the new transmission cooler that we're about to use. I'm planning to mount it right here so that it gets the most airflow. I usually hate to use these things in there, but I don't think that I have much choice with this particular setup, because I didn't want to put it all the way back here. It needs to be right here so we still have lines or room for the AC lines to come out, and this will get maximum airflow. We got the core support mounted in, and now I'm just waiting on bolts from O'Reilly's for the starter. They said they were going to be here at 3 o'clock, but they weren't. So I'm going to be here tomorrow morning, and so I'll go ahead and pick that up, and once they are here, I can put the bolts in, mount the battery tray, put the battery in, and then we can start running the wires to the battery how we like them. We're getting close. It's Tuesday morning. I got the starter bolts from O'Reilly's, so we can go ahead and put those in the car. And then we have the last thing that I didn't finish Thursday was I need to do the carrier bearing. Truck needed a new carrier. Well, probably didn't even need the new carrier bearing. The customer requested that we replace it, so we're replacing it. So we have a carrier bearing, and we're going to go ahead and put in the drive shaft and make sure everything lines up the way we'd like for it to. And then what we're going to do is hopefully be able to start the truck on Thursday. This is such a tight fit that I have to put the bolt in the starter before I can stick it up there because the frame is in the way. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave it in there kind of loose, and then we're going to do the battery tray and move the wire back there. So I can drop this out just a little bit, put all the stuff on it, put it back in. Finished up a lot of the wiring. What I need to do now is go ahead and remove the drive shaft. I'm sorry, actually remove the carrier bearing from the drive shaft, then install the drive shaft, and well, confirm the length and everything. We should be plenty good. Hi, I'm Sean, owner of Sleeper Cars Anonymous LLC. If you want to have your car built on the show, send us an email at sean.butler@sleepercarsanonymous.com. Again, that is sean.butler@sleepercarsanonymous.com.